Welcome, sports and I guess you can call it pop culture fans, back for yet another season of the Sports Double Perspective, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Morning, afternoon, we're teachers, all right? You have to excuse us. I'm sorry, we don't know whether it's day or evening or night, whatever. But how are you today? Well, that's how we are, y'all. As you can see, we're full on teacher life right now, but that's just how it goes, right? But anyway, my goodness, we are so glad to be back. It has been way too long. Life is awesome and crazy. But we've definitely missed you guys, and we've missed being on here. We're excited for all of the awesomeness that we're going to be doing. So, we got something to talk about tonight. We'll be talking about why I have deemed, but why at least I call sports intersection. Why it is I never. Now I have another but now my second reason is because congratulations to the Lake Elsinore Storm earning another title. That was awesome. Supported them all season long. Super excited about it. We'll be talking about a series that perspectives right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris, the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
Are you a fan of Buffalo sports? Are you thinking of changing loyalties and becoming a Buffalo sports fan? Do you even know where Buffalo is on the map? Did you know Canada is closer to Buffalo than New York City? Welcome to the Buffalo Huddle, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Patty Bax. This is a podcast designed for you, the passionate sports fan. I know you love your sports. Who doesn't? I cover Buffalo sports and so much more by bringing in the human elements. I call it Buffalo Sports with a Twist. Join me as we take a journey into the world of Buffalo sports. I guarantee you'll fall in love with Buffalo just like I did. Each week we start with an inspiration, question of the day, a Buffalo fun fact, and our weekly challenge to you, the listener. Come huddle up with me every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time for the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As we say in Buffalo,
welcome
go
back,
Bills.
sports fans. Well, here we are. I want to say a big shout out to our guy, Mr. Cale Henderson, in the chat room. Big ups to him, and of course everybody out there listening right now. We are super excited to get this thing going back up, and well, here we are. So once again, my wife chilling by my side, and we're gonna get into all kinds of stuff tonight, so hold your hats, y'all. It's gonna be a fun show. So with that said, lots of great stuff here. You can also hear at IA Sports Radio. Cale Henderson, by the way, and Sin City Sports on Tuesday nights. Great show for Vegas sports there. He's not too happy with the Raiders like we are. But, you know, that's a story for another day. So with that said, today, my goodness, we are talking about a whole bunch of things. But we just wanted to start this whole thing off by congratulating, like, the coolest sports franchise in the world, the Lake Elsinore Storm. I mean, seriously, they did it. Ladies and gentlemen, this year, and by the way, Lake Elsinore Storm. Who are the Lake Elsinore Storm, you may say? For Cale living in Nebraska, or somebody who's living far away. The Lake Elsinore Storm are the single A advanced minor league team, of course, of the San Diego Padres, and they won it all this year. Super excited for them. Just an amazing season.
Yeah, they did a really great job.
I mean, I can still see it now. We went to so many games just courtesy of Martha, of course, my aunt. She's awesome, helping us out, giving us some cool tickets. Got to show her some love. And SoCal Dove Release, she releases the doves there at the games, so big ups to her. And of course, we got to shout out the man who won an ESPY this year, of course, and that man is none other than the announcer. That's right, the stadium announcer for the Lake Elsinore Storm. I'll tell you right now, this dude is as awesome as it gets, because not only did he show us love by just, coming and saying what's up to us, like during games and everything, but the guy gave us freaking tickets after Cecilia I got Cecilia a jacket that he was wearing one day. Mr. Kaz Egan's. We got to give him an applause too. He's a great guy. He's a super cool guy, and he's looking at Twitter right now. Some pictures of him and the team after they won it all. He's holding the trophies. So just super cool. And they ended up in Fresno this year. But just what a season, historic season it was. I mean, it's funny, Cecilia and I went to like a lot of games this year. I can still remember Cecilia screaming at the umpire behind home plate.
Hey, some of these umpires, man, they just don't call it fair. And I feel like sometimes they're biased, but I know that they're not supposed to be biased, but I'm pretty sure they are low-key.
What are you, blind? And just kidding, I'm sorry. I'm trying to, trying to mimic her there. But no, there was one game where I don't think I've seen her this frustrated over sports ever because the umpire's strike zone was everywhere. And
it was weird.
It's kind of like he was absolutely, it's kind of like laughing at Kale's. I know Kale's talking about the Raiders. So, the chat room says trash. But yeah, you guys, actually, it was pretty funny. So the guy's strike zone was everywhere. He was striking out balls. He was calling strikes, for balls. He was calling ball strikes. I mean, the guy was just everywhere, and Cecilia just let him have it. She was all super loud, like, "Oh my gosh, are you serious?" Like, it was pretty funny. I thought it was pretty funny. But anyway, so we went to many games this past season in Lake Elsinore, and I'll tell you what, it's just not a bad seat in the house. For anybody who's never been to a minor league game, oh my gosh, we recommend it. I mean, tell them a little bit about it. I know you've never really been to a lot of minor league teams at all. I know you said you went to the Quakes game one time a long time ago.
I was really young. I don't remember how old I was. Obviously, yeah, really young. I barely remembered it. It was, yeah. But obviously we've been going to the Storm games, and obviously Larry introduced me to the farm system kind of thing, so I didn't know about that until I met him and everything like that. But yeah, like what he said, like there's seriously no bad seat in the house, and I really like that because you said, I mean, with the big teams, the MLB, you get those nosebleed seats where you can barely see people. They look like ants from afar. But I really like the farm system and everything like that, and seeing the Storm every time. It's really cool. And then obviously with Kaz being there, he really makes the Storm games even better.
It's the truth. It takes a great announcer, a great crowd. It's not a bad seat in the house. Do you highly recommend it to anybody? How about those who don't even like baseball or just getting drug along?
Yeah, I would recommend, seeing the Storm or seeing, any kind of farm league, because it's really fun, especially when you get a good host like, Kaz being there. And maybe not, because I haven't experienced, I mean, I have a long time ago, obviously, but I don't really remember if they had like an announcer kind of thing, like what Kaz does, but yeah, it's really cool and fun, I mean, you get to see a game for pretty cheap, so even if you're not interested in baseball or whatnot, I think it's worth it just to have, just to go see a game one time,
Agreed. I couldn't agree more. I think it's just, there is not a bad seat in the house. It is such a great atmosphere, and it's so cool. So to anybody who's even thinking like, hey, maybe I should try out seeing a minor league game or whatever. I mean, we've talked about it before on the way home after grabbing some In-N-Out. Because In-N-Out's right down the street from the stadium. But we talked about it before, and it's like, if, let's just say, you love your sports, you love the professional teams and everything, but you don't want to go so far or whatever. I mean, my gosh, these farm systems, and it's cool because a lot of these farm systems are really close to maybe some, where you guys are instead of like in the big city, so it's so worth supporting them. And I've been supporting the Storm for years, and then, of course, Cecilia, when I met her, she said that, she liked baseball, and I was like, oh my gosh, we got to take you to some Storm games. And after 2 seasons now, her and I are just addicted. We go so fun. Yeah, they really are, and we're so happy for them. So once again, you guys, big, gigantic shout out to the Lake Elsinore Storm, the 2022 California League champions. I mean, you couldn't script this in a movie, I amazing stuff. They defeat the Sixers, I think, in 2 games in the playoffs. They finished with the top record in the first half of the season, the second best record under the Sixers. In the second half of the season, they defeat the Sixers in 2 games, like I said, and then it would be a clean sweep. Elsinore would win game 1 in Elsinore. Fresno had the better record. And Fresno is, I believe, an affiliate of the Colorado Rockies. So it was Padres versus Rockies, if you will, in the final. And, well, that's what happened. They went up north, and in game number 2, it came all the way down to, I believe, like the 9th inning. My gosh, it was amazing. But a strike from our pitcher, I believe, and that's how it ended. And they celebrated on the Fresno Grizzlies field. Of course, it's always a tough one to swallow. Great season. Hey, but you know what? Applause for the Grizzlies, too. What an amazing season. Hats off to them. But the season belongs to the Storm, so congratulations. I know, I am so on the applause button tonight. My apologies, but I just can't say it anymore. We're such big fans of this team, and we just want to say congratulations to such a great franchise. And we are so excited to go back this coming season and just cheer these guys on. So really cool. This past year, it's actually, my gosh, they actually had some history, really. Remember, they actually had a combined no-hitter, if you remember earlier this season.
No.
Oh my.
I don't remember, sorry. I have a bad memory.
Combined no-hitter. Really cool seeing that. I mean, we weren't there. Gosh darn it. We weren't there for the cool no-hitter, but it's all good. That was really cool. First ever in Lake Elsinore history. So just really cool to see that. And once again, hats off to that program, to the franchise. And they really made it happen. So, looks like we still got our peeps in the chat room here. Kale says, I'm still here, dude. Watching film, got a 4-3 with some speedy linebackers. Siemens. Kale, of course, over there coaching in Nebraska youth football, which tonight we're going to be talking about youth sports. Mm-hmm. Kind of cool, right? So Kale does coach in the youth levels, I believe. But he says, love, peace, and hair grease, Belmont is a couple. Well, thank you very much, sir. And Taryn pops in. Good evening, Larry and Cecilia. Hope you're having an awesome show. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Taryn. Had an amazing show earlier today with the SoCal Supreme Sports Show. If you love Southern California sports, you go nowhere else. Taryn's got you. Taryn's talking about the USD Toreros, okay? Team that nobody talks about, and the UCSD Tridents, okay? Nobody talks about them, but Taryn does. Mm-hmm. That's how we do it here at IU Sports Radio. So, and of course, for Vegas sports, look no further than Mr. Cale Henderson. He's got you covered there. So we got you covered at all ends here at IU Sports Radio. So with that said, you guys, we are really excited for them. And once again, his hats off to the Storm on an incredible season. So, anyway, after just going on and on and on about the Storm, because, you guys know that I can do that easily. Cecilia's over here going, okay, next topic.
Yep. Don't want to bore them.
Sorry. I'm just really excited about them, and just what a great year. But anyway, I was looking for a post real quick too. So by the way, last but not least for the Storm, this was it was 3-2 in that final game in game 2, and this is their fourth title in franchise history, and their first one since 2011. So guess what a great year for them, and that'll close the book on a great season in the California League. Huh?
And hopefully they can do it again next season.
Woo! We're gonna be there, you guys. So, all right. So coming up next topic, we're gonna kind of just go back and forth, pop culture, sports, and all the good stuff. Resident Evil. Okay, this one needs a fun little introduction. We're gonna have some fun with this one. That's a little creepy little intro there. Resident Evil. Okay, this video game started back in the 90s. I really don't know how far this thing goes back. I remember playing this thing on PlayStation 1, okay, as a kid, and it was always like a dare with your friends. For anybody listening right now, you played the game, and then, like, you would wait till about 1 or 2 in the morning and play it, and try not to, like, crap your pants. because of how scary that game was, how suspenseful those doors. I can see the doors opening now with those old PlayStation 1 graphics. And so we were over some family's house. Big shout out to Sandra and Chris. We were over some family's house, and we were over there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Actually, it's about a month ago now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And they were watching Resident Evil, and I was like, oh, yeah, I remember that a little bit, not a lot. And Cecilia was like, yeah, it looks pretty cool. And then Chris started getting more into it, and both of them actually started getting more into it and telling us more. So he was like, you know what? We got every freaking movie. How about you borrow all the movies?
Yeah, because I kept asking questions, because obviously I've never heard of Resident Evil until we finally, well, not finally, but when we hung out with them. And they were obviously watching it, and I was like, wait, what the heck is going on? And obviously, I don't like scary movies and whatnot, but suspense I can kind of deal with, but even then, I still freak out, and I always have Larry laughing, but he laughs at me, because I, like, literally jump up.
It's pretty funny.
But I definitely like them so far, and I'm glad that they're letting us borrow the movies. We have 2 more to go, so, yeah, pretty good.
So, for those of you who don't know, the Umbrella Corporation, an evil corporation, of course, they created this thing, the T-virus. You find out later it was made to help this young girl walk again. Just really crazy deal. It goes through a series of changes from bringing people to, of course, the virus turns people into zombies, and they eat you, and they drink your blood, and they turn you into a zombie too, and then they mutate things, and you have things like the lickers, and then like Nemesis, and it's insane.
Which is a weird name for one of the monsters, I guess, a licker.
It's a licker.
Almost sounds like looker, but it's a licker.
Right? It's a licker. I mean, I don't know, it's kind of crazy. It's interesting how they look, but yes, so there's things like that are going on in the series. Alice, of course, the main character of the movie, because when you play the game, and then you, like, when I was a kid, you play the game, and then you're watching, and you're like, who is this? I don't know who Alice is. I know who Jill is. You know what I mean? I know who... And Claire. Okay? You know who they are, but you sure as heck don't know who Alice is, so they put a new spin on it. But pretty cool. They go far back, you guys. Of course, it's going to the early 2000s. But they ended up into, 6 movies, I think? 6 total movies?
I don't know. I think it's 6 or 7.
Yeah, so
one of the 2.
We've gotten pretty far. We should have watched them along, like, a lot. But as you can see, guys, we're busy. Okay, we've got a lot of crap. But looking in order here, I had to Google it. We have had, so the first one, Resident Evil, then Apocalypse, then Extinction. Okay, so let's go by the year. So Resident Evil, the first one, 2002. Then in 2004, Apocalypse. 2007... we have Extinction. 2010, Afterlife, which is the one we just recently watched. Then in 2012, there was Retribution, and then the final, Resident Evil, the final chapter, I believe, yes, in 2016. We still have to watch Retribution and the final chapter.
Yeah.
But so far, give your honest opinion on it.
Oh, I'm liking them so far. I like the suspense. I like the storyline behind it all. How she's like trying to bring I'm forgetting the corporate's name.
Alfred.
What?
Alfred.
Alfred.
He's a jerk. I'm sorry, Alfred.
No.
Albert. He's the guy that you can't kill in the video games.
Yeah, that's one of the characters.
Albert Wesker. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's the blonde guy that just doesn't seem to die. So
I'm not talking about him though. I'm talking about the corporation.
The Umbrella Corporation.
There you go, the Umbrella Corporation. Yeah, she's trying to hunt them down and like try to destroy it because it's all their fault that, you know, this virus came out and why everybody's turning into a zombie and turning into blood-sucking people. But yeah, it's really cool, and it obviously has its funny parts and everything like that, and the suspense of it all, because you don't know when these freaking zombies are going to come right after you, and obviously the music doesn't help, but it's all good. I love it. I like the suspense. I like being low-key scared for a little bit and then recuperating and then doing it all over again. So, but yeah, it's really good. I like it, and obviously the storyline of it all, and what she's trying to do, and it's cool too because they keep the original people from the game. So you still have Claire and what's the other one?
Jill,
and then Leon, right?
Redford. Well, yeah, Leon.
And see, I didn't know all these people either because I never played the game. I never, like I said, I never heard about it until we met with my cousins and everything like that. And then he was telling me more Larry and everything like that. So
Redfield. I'm sorry, Redfield family. Look at that.
But yeah, it's really cool. I like it, and I can't wait to finish them. It's
a trip. It's a crazy series. Would you recommend Resident Evils for anybody, or who you selling it to, babe?
I mean, I would recommend it to everybody, but I would think I would recommend it more to people who obviously like zombies and all that stuff, and who obviously like to get scared for that little bit of time and then get over it and then do it all again. And yeah, I mean, but I'd recommend it to everyone, but mainly to people who like that suspense and thrill and zombies.
It's a fun one. So Taryn says here, isn't Resident Evil an arcade game you can play at Dave & Buster's or any big time arcade? Yeah, I think they have like the shooters where you can like shoot and kill zombies. They have that.
I don't know if they have Resident Evil per se, but I mean they have zombie stuff like that.
Resident Evil goes back, you guys. It's like a 90s game. I don't know if it goes back before that, but anyway, fun stuff, and yeah, definitely worth the watch, worth the play too if you guys are gamers. The game we gotta get one for the PlayStation.
Oh, with the game, I don't know if I can handle that. If I can barely handle the movies, I mean I can handle them, but yeah. I don't know if I can handle the game. I'd probably be freaking scared out of my mind.
You want to do that old school challenge and play at 2 a.m?
No, thank you.
Come on, turn off all the lights.
No!
And then it's just the door, and it makes the creaky sound too. It zooms in. I can see it in my head, right? Well, I showed you, right? Chris and I showed you. It's the full door, and it's nothing but black around the door, and then it zooms into the door, and it goes... and then, like, you just, like... out of nowhere, it's just quiet, and then it just pops out at you, or like one of those dogs.
Yeah, I couldn't play that. I'd probably break the controller or break our TV. None of those would be no good.
Or take off running to the room.
Or that too. Drop the controller and take off running.
Hey, she can fight too. She'll punch the TV or something, or throw. Yeah, she gets violent.
What? No, I don't.
Anyway, y'all, we thank y'all so much for tuning in today. Great stuff. We're having fun here. And, well, we're going to give ourselves a little bit of something to drink. Hopefully you guys are out there enjoying your Friday evening. We're going to take ourselves a quick break. But never fear. We got a whole half a show to go tonight, of course. We're talking of why is October... why do I call it the sports intersection? And, of course, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Gridiron Gang, we'll talk about that, of course, the movie that we've recently watched, our sports, the sports movies that we like to recap and review, I guess. And then, of course, issues in youth sports, our main topic for tonight. So, don't go nowhere, y'all. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Sports Club Perspectives, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour, every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter, at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter. At any time, be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
up, everybody? This is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, IE Sports Radio listeners. Thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight. You are listening to the Sports Culture Perspective right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Cecilia and Larry B here. Hey! We're hanging out with you on a Friday night. And, well, it's about time to get on in to why I like to call October the sports intersection. So, I know I've already told you, my darling wife. But, had I have not explained already, would you know why I call October the sports intersection?
I mean, I think a little. I mean, it kind of sounds like a lot of sports are happening, but I think at the same time, like switching off, I guess. But yeah, if you didn't explain, then I wouldn't have known. Those would have been like my answers.
It makes total sense, though, when I explained it, though, right? Mm-hmm. Pretty cool, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, there you go. And see, it pegged it, actually. Why I love to call October the greatest month, the sports intersection? Well, let me tell you why. Because the NFL is getting to midseason, and we will hit midseason at, of course, some point in October, usually in the middle towards the end. Halloween, great game as always. This year, we got the Halloween game. Kind of funny because Cecilia deemed it the Halloween game because their colors, the Browns and Bengals on Halloween night.
No, just because it's on Halloween, and usually they have a Thanksgiving game.
3.
Which I forget what they call it.
3 of them.
Oh, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Well, usually people just pay attention to the main game at night.
Thursday Night Football.
Yes. Yeah. And then, don't they have a Christmas or something like that?
This year there's going to be Christmas.
This year, barely. So, I'm like, why not just call it a Halloween one? So, yeah.
I mean, pretty cool, right? So, yeah. So, we have all that good stuff. So, really quick, you guys. NCAA football is going on during this time. We're getting towards, well, we're already at midseason, but we're getting closer to midseason and getting on to the second half of the season. We have sometimes some good fights in October, not always in the UFC and boxing. MLB, of course, you gotta love October because October is playoff time. Right now, we got plenty going on in the MLB. My goodness. Our Dodgers and Padres are tied right now. Good stuff. 1-0-0. I'll get started. But, yeah, great stuff going on there in the MLB. Formula One is usually getting down to the nitty-gritty. Max Verstappen just won the championship in Japan. But yeah, usually getting down to the end sometime in here. IndyCar just concluded about a month ago. The NHRA is in the playoffs right now. NASCAR is currently in the playoffs. We're in our last 4 races of the season, I believe, getting close to there. We have the MLS, the playoffs are just started. We had decision day coming up. We just finished off the NWSL, or we're getting close there to the championship, the Women's Soccer League. NHL just started 2 days ago. The NBA starts this next past week. Wow. Starts up this next coming week. We got all that good stuff going on, and there's still more, you guys. The European leagues are just, they're cooking with gas by this point because they started in August. We're getting into the seeing who's who, which is really cool. We just had in October the U.S. Open, the last major of the year in tennis. Don't know if we have anything major in golf, but, so we have all of that going on. College sports are heating up. College volleyball, the women, are getting down to the very end, getting close towards the thick of the season, to where the champion, this is it. This is the race, the push for the championship. They've been playing since August. All these college, collegiate teams, they're playing. I mean, so many great college sports. College soccer is getting close to the Women's College Cup and the Men's College Cup playoffs. So much football at all divisions. I mean, once again, there's just every way. And that's why I call it the sports intersection, because some are exiting the season, some are just getting on the freeway, this is the big intersection where we're just turn in. Oh, my exit's here. Oh, we're going here. I'm going to this freeway. I'm going this way. I mean, it's crazy, right? So yeah, Terrence is here. NCAA volleyball is in conference play. So yeah, I mean, we're getting to that in football right now too. So it's really cool that we get all of these things. And I know there's a lot I'm probably leaving out, but I don't want to guess. I can go on about this forever. Cecilia knows.
Yes.
So,
anything sports related, you can go on and on and on.
You know it. So, the UEFA Champions League is heating up. We have here, my goodness, there's just so much, you guys, so much to get into. So many great leagues around the world in soccer. This year is pretty cool because the World Cup is going to be starting. We're going to have, how cool is this? So we already talked about this, Cecilia and I, but crazy that the World Cup, because it's so dang hot in Qatar, they're going to move it to the winter time. Of course, we've never had a World Cup, I don't think, ever played in the winter. And they're going to actually play this thing from November to December. So how cool is this? Let me show you the calendar on Thanksgiving Day. Of course, we're going to be enjoying this. We're going to wake up on Thanksgiving morning with Group C play. Well, at least I am. I'm going to wake up at 2 in the morning. 2 in the morning. Switzerland will be taking on Cameroon.
Okay, I definitely would not be up at that time.
5 a.m. Oh, I have my workout there. They're not going to be open on that day. But 5 a.m., Group H, Uruguay versus South Korea. 8 a.m., Group H, Portugal and Ghana. Then, just as that game is ending, the first NFL game for Thanksgiving is going to be happening, or the first Thanksgiving game of the day is going to be happening as the Bills take on the Lions. Then, and that's at 9:30. Then at 11 a.m., this is all Pacific time, by the way, Group G, Brazil and Serbia are going to be playing during the day. Then at 1:30, the Giants and Cowboys. Of course, Cowboys and Lions always play on Thanksgiving. And then, let's not forget, that night, Thursday Night Football, Thanksgiving dinner, Patriots and Vikings go head-to-head. That's going to be our Thanksgiving this year.
That's a very busy day for Thanksgiving.
Isn't it great?
No, I feel bad for the players because they don't get to spend time with their families.
They don't. However, Christmas Eve, bowl season this year, of course, we have some good bowl seasons. And of course, Raiders play the Steelers on Christmas Eve night. Really excited for that one. But let's go ahead and get on into NFL Christmas because it's on a Sunday this year, and why not? All the games are going to be played on Christmas Eve this year, and then we're going to go to Christmas where we have, just like Thanksgiving, 10 a.m. Pacific time, Packers play the Dolphins. At 1:30, the Broncos play the Rams. And on Christmas night, the Buccaneers play the Cardinals. I mean, what do you think about that?
That's a lot going on.
Isn't it cool? No? Not cool?
No.
I mean, even look at New Year's. Niners and Raiders, yeah. But Rams and Chargers, the two LA teams going head-to-head on Thursday Night Football on the first day of the year. I mean, Christmas Eve, we're going to have some bowl games. I mean, it's all kinds. So, really quick, I got a quick question for you now. What do you think about all these teams that play? And by the way, we're going to have NBA Christmas because this year, looking at the NBA, I mean, there's always NBA Christmas. Can't not have NBA Christmas Day. So, to add to all those games are going to be on Christmas Day, let me show you what's happening. On that day, we're going to have Lakers and Mavericks playing. That's going to be a fun one. 76ers and Knicks, Bucks and Celtics, Grizzlies and Warriors, and Suns and Nuggets. So now that you see all this happening...
Nuggets. Sorry, that's a weird team's name, but that's funny.
Well, they're golden Nuggets. But what do you think about all that? And what do you think about their families, too? And I remember you said before, don't they get to spend time with their family and all that? So take it away. What do you say about all these major games that are on major holidays?
I mean, it's obviously cool because they obviously, make the big bucks and make good money. But still, it's just already as it is during the season, they don't even get to see their families too often. And so I feel like holidays should just be free of sports. Make it fair. I know people like you would be so sad and devastated,
heartbroken.
but
I'm hurt right now.
They have families too. They have lives. They need to spend time with their family members. Holidays are meant to be, spending time with your family and cherishing those moments with one another.
But and it is true, but not all. Like for instance, the Lakers usually play every Christmas Day.
Yeah, but still.
And the Lions always play every Thanksgiving, and the Dallas Cowboys always play every Thanksgiving. But other teams that swamp in and out, they don't always play on those days. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. What do you think? do you think about the teams that always play on those days?
They should still get a break. I mean, I understand too. They probably they fly them home and get to, go home and everything like that. But still, it's just like you just played a game. You're going to go home and shower, and then you have to go to a family gathering. I'm pretty sure these people are pretty tired. So, I mean, that's hard to have to go to a gathering when you're freaking tired AF because you just played a game. But, yeah, I feel like those are the days that they should be free and be home with families and loved ones.
But then there'd be no sports on those days.
Oh, you'll live. Everyone else will live just for one day.
I'll tell you what, as an athlete, somebody who would have loved to play in the NFL, I would have been honored to play on one of those days. Every season, I can see how that kind of wear, but I would have loved to have played on those days, just saying. So, anyway, with that said, you guys, we're going to jump into, of course, Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Woo woo.
How about, the coolest thing that you can see about any type of deal like this that supports a very serious cause is when you see things pop out in, I don't know, just in places that I guess you wouldn't expect. I don't know. But we were at the mall about a month ago around there, and Cecilia sees this banner, and go ahead.
Well, I mean, we were shopping. We're shopping for gifts for me.
Yep, because let's give a shout out to the birthday girl, of course. Last weekend for his birthday, October 8th, birthday as well. So, but yes, we were shopping, and I was buying her some gifts for us. So continue.
But yeah, like as we walked into the Promenade Mall in Temecula, there was a sign saying, for breast cancer awareness. They're having vendors and all that to promote, breast cancer, and whatever money that some of the vendors made, some of the proceeds would go to, finding a cure for breast cancer and everything like that. And of course, we have to support because, unfortunately, my mom had breast cancer, and I know other people like my aunt and one of my cousins also had suffered from breast cancer. Luckily, my aunt and cousin survived, thank God, and they're in remission. But unfortunately, my mom had breast cancer 3 times, and it took her on the last one. So she passed away in 2015. So, of course, I'm all about breast cancer awareness and supporting it and donating any chance that I get. So remember that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and do whatever you can to support it, and donate if you can, and wear pink, and and support it.
That's right. Real men wear pink. Good.
Yeah, exactly. Real men wear pink. But that goes for all cancers, obviously, not just breast cancers, but all cancers that are out there, and any kind of support groups and stuff like that they have out there. Any kind of awareness. There you go. Go support them all. I believe in that.
You sure do, and I'll tell you, it's unfortunate. I never got to meet my mother-in-law because of it, and it's so sad. Something that I just know it can affect anybody at any given time.
Yep, it does not discriminate.
It does not discriminate. Our very own Angela Winstead, who is very open about this topic, she was diagnosed at a very young age in her 20s, and she's right at our age, and that young woman fought, and my goodness, she made it. And she's very open about her story. She's told the story about 4 times already because I make her tell the story all the time. It's not funny, but I'm just saying because of what the Cardinals did, how they were cool. I think they supplied her with tickets and everything. That's why she's such a big Arizona Cardinals fan. But our GM of IS Sports Radio, and one of the heads of our PR department, she is amazing, and she beat it, and she's just so grateful and thankful, and it just shines through her how much she just lives for the cause and supports it, and just so it's people like her that just go, and it's like people like my wife who it took her mother. I mean, it sucks, but it's like we just got to be aware of these things, and we need to always know that there's hope, and we need to just continue that fight. And the more time we can donate, the more we can donate to the to the cause. You know, the more that we can do to help, is even give hope in any way. Cecilia is going to be a volunteer pretty soon. Pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, to being able to give positivity to women who are going through it. And just to let you guys know, women are not the only ones who are affected by it, but men are also affected by breast cancer, because you guys obviously have breasts yourself, but, you know, obviously look different. So men and women need to check themselves, you know, make sure you're good, make sure you have no lumps, and if you do, go to the doctor right away, and hopefully, God willing, you know, everything turns out really good. And hopefully, God willing, no one else gets it.
That's right. So just remember, y'all, this is a pretty serious segment, and we just wanted to say, you know, to everybody out there who's fighting that fight, stay strong. Keep fighting. I mean,
there's hope.
There is, and take it from my wife, who had an extremely strong mother who fought with every ounce of her. I mean, it's just to think of, you know, the people in her family that had it, that beat it, people like Angela. You know, it's just unfortunate that it's a thing. Cancer is a thing. But once again, with the more time, the more research, the more we can give to fighting cancer.
And hopefully they can find a cure.
Wouldn't that be such a beautiful day, you know?
Yes.
By the grace of God. So just know God's with you, and just stay positive, stay strong, and
go support.
So any last messages for anybody out there who may be suffering from this, or may have somebody suffering from this, or just may want to just support the cause in any possible way?
I mean, any women or men that are going through it, I pray that you guys get through it. Stay strong. Remember, you are not alone. There are people out there. Look for the resources that you need. There are plenty of I don't know what you call them, like groups or like information that you can get. But yeah, stay strong. Pray if you're a believer, God has your back and you will get through this. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and like I said before, always make sure you're checking yourselves, make sure you're doing your routine doctor checkups and everything like that, and hopefully you guys stay healthy.
Please do. And by the way, just in case you want to, you guys, once again, if you're a believer like we are, make sure to follow our podcast at TSCP, stands for the Sports Couple Perspectives, _IESR. Once again, that is the letters, at TSCP _IESR. And hey, if you need prayer requests, hey, get some more people out there to fight for you. Hey, just let us know and we'll definitely pray for you. I mean, it's a great way of fighting, and we could definitely, throw you guys in and pray for you guys for healing.
Yep.
So with that said, you guys, thank you all so very much for that, and big ups to our boy Taryn. So he's got to take off for work real quick, but hey, thanks a lot, man, for tuning in today, and thank you all for tuning in. So on a little bit of a higher note, well, we got a movie to recap. And this movie is a pretty good one. Cecilia and I enjoyed this about a month ago, maybe a little bit more than that. Went to get ready for football season, of course. But Gridiron Gang. Okay, so in, I believe, 2006, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Exhibit, of course, teamed up with some other actors and some directors, or a director and whatnot, and created this movie called Gridiron Gang. A movie about togetherness. This was about the 1990, or I believe 91 season for an amazing coach. Just a great man by the name, of course, of Sean Porter. And he started this, I think it was in LA. He started a football team, you guys, at a correctional facility, a juvenile correctional facility. He's seen too many things. At the beginning of the movie, you can see Exhibit and The Rock talking about, they come right back. They get released and they come right back. There's nothing for them out there. They go out there and they just want to kill. They want to go back to their old gangs. They want to go out to they want to go to their bad habits. We need something positive for these young men. So what happens? He creates a football team. And it says here, we were reading earlier, in case you guys want to read it, really cool little article written here on, it's truesportsmovies.com, so truesportsmovies.com, I believe /football//gridiron -gang -Kilpatrick -Mustangs Mustangs /. So really cool stuff here where I got some stuff. It was written by Kevin Ott. That's KEVIN space OTT. I believe that's how you say his name. Updated on May 20, 2020. But it's really, 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 really cool. And it gives you like some background and everything about this. But overall, just no matter what, whatever the movie got wrong, whatever really did happen in real life, I think I would like to think they're really closely related. Regardless, though, it was a beautiful idea, and it really did help some young men actually change themselves. And it's such a cool movie. They got schools to play, even though some of them were kind of worried. And it's crazy because the movie was actually tailored towards their, and I don't want to get it wrong, but I think it's their 1990 season where they actually went all the way to the freaking finals, you guys, and they lost. I think it had to have been CIF finals, but they lost. In the championship game, and I don't know if they were undefeated or not. I don't think they were. No, they lost in the beginning, but I think that was that very first game that we seen in the movie. But and it says here that they originally had a basketball team too in 1986. Regardless, though, really cool, right? They make it happen, and you gotta love it because at the end of the day, what this article says, and something that Sean Porter really, really pushed out there is not always about winning and losing. It's about accepting the challenge and standing up to it. And I think he's really trying to show these young men that's what life is. Because that's been ingrained in me as a football player, that football is life. It's a game of inches. And my gosh, if football is not life, I mean, I don't know what is. Because you can relate it. You can relate it to pretty much anything, life, But football for me is just an easy way. It's an analogy because it's like, oh my gosh, like it really is adversity at its finest sometimes. I mean, it's incredible, but it's a game of inches, and you got to fight for every inch you can get, and it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. So just seeing this movie, our high school coach took our high school football team, of course, to go see this in theaters when I think before my senior year, to go see it, and it was just such a great experience, all of us together in the theater and the coaches and everything. It's a really, really cool movie, and yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and shut up. But yes, I just want to give you guys a background about that. But how about that? I mean, Cecilia, let's not forget, we reviewed Friday Night Lights, and Cecilia gave that's the only A+ she ever gave a sports movie, by the way.
I've given them all A+, I think, except for one.
Okay, but she said that's her favorite of all of them, though, which was not Friday Night Lights, I'm sorry. When the Game Stands Tall.
Yeah.
That was about the De La Salle movie. And that's beautiful on its own. My gosh, what a coach, Lasser and all them. I think that's how you say his name. But this, too, had a really strong meaning behind it. And just, yeah. So how about you? What did you think about that movie? And give us all of your thoughts.
I really liked this movie. I like how, I'm forgetting his name, but The Rock, basically.
Sean Porter.
Okay, him, the coach. Well, he's not a coach, but security guard, right?
Well, yeah, he was the coach, but he was also like a worker at the juvenile facility.
Yeah.
He was, I don't know, he was like a counselor, I think, there. I don't know what he was, but yeah, he worked there.
But I really liked how he actually took the time to care for the boys who were in the prison. Is it a prison? Or would you call it?
For juvenile facility.
Sorry,
So it is like a prison, though. I mean, they don't get to go nowhere. They're stuck in there.
Well, yeah, so. But the juvenile, facility, and because I mean, I feel like a lot of people don't really. Not a lot of people. I don't know. I feel like there's some people who don't care for kids in a way, and it's like you don't really know what's going on in their personal lives. Like, I get it. We have our own things going on, and we have our own, drama and whatnot to take care of. But, I mean, kids are so young that they, truly don't understand how the world works. And so I like how, he was trying to fix what these boys are doing and trying to put them, on the right path and show them, there's more to life than what is surrounded around you. Even if, you know, you live in a place where there's gangs or there's, I don't know what else, like drugs and whatnot. But I like how he was willing to fight for putting a football team together to show them how to work together as a team and be men, basically, and how to, you know, take care of yourself once you get out of the juvenile prison and everything like that.
Beautifully said. And what a great way to wrap up that segment. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. I think it's an amazing story. And, well, let's get back to the grades. So what would you grade that?
I would definitely rate it an A+. It was a really good movie.
It's an A+?
I like how, because already as it is, these kids have given up on themselves because they feel like their whole family or, you know, no one else cares about them or already has given up on them. But he didn't. He fought for them. He showed them that they are worth something, you know. They are worth who they are and everything like that. So it's definitely worth the watch. And, yeah, I definitely give it an A+.
And do you recommend it?
Yeah, I just said that.
Okay,
yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I think it was a great movie as well, and just beautifully done. Really, really cool story. And if you're into just feel-good movies that are just going to make you be like, yes, give you strength and hope and all that, I couldn't agree more. I think that's right there. So with that said, you guys, we're going to take ourselves one more short break. And when we get back, we're going to be talking about our main topic of the night, issues in youth sports. You're not going to want to miss this one. You're listening to the Sports Couple Perspectives right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Some say that Indiana is just a flyover state. Flatlands and cornfields, barns and country roads. What if I told you Indiana is the crossroads of America? What if I told you in all other states, basketball is just basketball? In Indiana, basketball is life. Crowded high school basketball gyms on a Friday night, and every barn with a basketball rim and a frayed, worn-out net. If you're interested in the heartbeat of America, and if you're interested in sports, if you have Hoosier running through your veins, the Crossroads Pod with Aaron X is made for you. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Each and every week, the Crossroad Pod covers all of Indiana sports. The pride of the horseshoe of the Indianapolis Colts. The blue-collar gold swagger of the Indiana Pacers. The relentless pursuit of the sixth banner for the Indiana Hoosiers. The swing of the hammer of the Purdue Boilermakers. The swoop of the Cardinals of Ball State. The summoning of the echoes of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. The growl of the Bulldogs of Butler. The intensity of an Indiana fever. The chop of the Indianapolis Indians. At the Crossroads Pod, if it is Indiana, we've got you covered. More than cornfields. More than country back roads. The Crossroads of America. Join me, Aaron X, every week. It's nothing but net.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Harrison Glazer, and we're coming at you from the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. I cover the Jets, the Islanders, the Nets, and the Yankees.
This is Pierre Moss, and I cover the Mets, Knicks, Rangers, and the Giants.
Our show is live every Wednesday through Spreaker and a bunch of other ways to get our content. Again, we're the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. We talk about all those New York sports. It's a lot of fun. We get into all of it. Please tune in. Again, that's Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
And we look forward to having you guys right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Thank you all so very much once again for tuning in tonight. Final break of the night, and we're coming back at you with our main topic, which of course is issues in youth sports. So I'll lead this off just by saying that it's a real thing, guys. Okay, It's hard. It is really hard because at the end of the day, as an athlete myself who is playing semi-pro football at the age of 33 years old with a bunch of guys out there who are between 18 and into their 40s, I'll tell you right now, the competitive edge never goes away. I just love to compete. I love the game. And God has blessed me with a skill set to play football, to be strong, God-given strength, just so many great things. And I just got to tell you right now, guys, it's a beautiful game, and it's great. I know that one day, I won't be able to play no more. It'll be done, and I'll just be too old. But I'm enjoying it while I can, while God blesses me with these years of being able to play it. So I will say that I love it, and it's fun. But at the end of the day, at the lower levels, sometimes, I don't know, it just seems kind of crazy. You hear a lot of players who grow up and they kind of just hate the sport they grew up playing. Or they grew up and they, they just totally just quit. They're amazing, but they don't want to play anymore. By the time
they fall out of love with the sport.
They fall out of love with the sport. They do. And what does that? Well, tonight we're going to be talking about this kind of a crazy deal, but that's how it goes. Cecilia and I had a show a while back where we kind of talked about this in a different light, talking about participation trophies, something that I am strongly against because I don't care how old you are. At the end of the day, you put in the work and sometimes you don't get the pay for it when it comes to sports, and that's all there is to it. I could not be more against participation trophies because we're rewarding losing, and I don't care how old you are. I get it. People say, oh, the work. Yeah, they worked, but their reward is getting better. Their reward is getting stronger and better for the next season. They don't see it now. But I don't know. Then again, I see nothing wrong with the league doesn't have to reward them, but the parents can. Hey, they might have lost every single game, but reward them. Take them out, nice dinner, get them something, buy them a new PlayStation. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, hey, they worked hard for that, okay? But I don't know. I disagree with the league, giving everybody a trophy just because they played. I don't know. But Cecilia and I went back and forth about that a while back. She thinks that that's okay. Of course, I'm speaking from a competitive, athletic standpoint. Cecilia's coming from another angle where she's like, no. I'm like, well.
Like I said before, I believe in it to a certain extent. Like, once you get to a certain age, then, yeah, you should only get trophies for actually working hard.
I think we had a medium where we agreed on that last time, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so I can, and now I can, she's open eyes to that, to where it's like, yeah, you know what, you're right. We have to start, we have to give some kind of credit to these youngsters who are out there playing, but it's true, at a certain age, that kind of has to stop. But at the end of the day, we find ourselves with cases such as, and this was a crazy one. I remember I've told you this a while back, and this guy, it was really sad. And Todd Marnovich, his father was like every bit of the athlete you can think of. The guy played his heart away, and he ended up, I think he played at USC, and went to the Raiders. He got hurt, and he pushed himself so hard, never gave himself rest, ended up really just destroying his body. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to play sports, got a little older, and, that was it. His time had passed, and that was that. However, he dedicated every moment of his son's life to being the athlete. It was said by 6 months, I saw a YouTube video about this, by 6 months, he was stretching out his son's hamstrings as a baby. And by the time he was 4 or 5 years old, he was already prepping him for these things as a youngster. And I remember the YouTube video saying that he told his dad that he wanted to be a great quarterback because his dad told him, do you want to be a great quarterback? And of course, young kids would be like, yeah, of course, Dad. Not knowing that what would happen. And unfortunately, he was so reckless, he kind of just forced football on him, talking about, he never ate anything bad, and just keeps on going on. And by the time he gets to high school, the pressure's so hard that he ends up starting to, smoke marijuana, I think, drink. He's starting to do drugs. All throughout college now, he went to USC like his dad, played, did drugs, and then he gets into the NFL, plays a couple of games plays I think a season or two for the Raiders, and then just completely falls apart, and his life just goes into drugs. And at the end of the day, he didn't even really want to play football that much. Now I'm glad to say that I saw some videos about him not too long ago, and he's painting now. He's doing the career thing. He's got a family. Everything's good, but just to think how sad, tragedy, because his father really just kind of forcing on. I'm not saying his dad was a bad person, but just, he didn't really give his son the choice. So what do you think about that?
I obviously disagree with how the father went about it. I feel like your children should have a say on what kind of sport they play in, because obviously the older they get, they're not going to want to play the sport anymore. I mean, unless obviously they truly love the game and want to go all the way, then so be it. But, like, for him, who did not want to play the game at all just because, his father did, there should be no pressure. I mean, he can say that he gave it a shot and he should have just left it at that. And who knows, maybe he could have found another sport that he actually liked and went on with that. But I feel like children should always have a say in what they want to play and not play.
It's true. I remember a friend of mine telling me that he had a friend, of course, we're in high school, and remember I told you that story about his dad forcing him to play baseball his whole life, and he didn't even really want to. He played. He was dang good at it. The guy went to Division I and everything like that, but he dropped out and then got back into it and then dropped out again, and then at the end of the day, he just says, like, I hate baseball. I hate it. I hate it. Like, my father forced me my entire life, and, because I don't know the ins and outs of that story completely. My good friend told me that, like I said, a while back. But it's just really sad, because it's like, man, like, you see that. And, of course, Todd Marnovich, I'm sure he wanted to play. He had passion for the game. I know he did because he played it. But at the end of the day, I think his father's passion outweighed his passion.
Yeah. And it's probably too, I forgot what the father did. He make it all the way to the NFL?
The dad got all the way to the NFL, but then he trained so hard, and he just destroyed his body, and he didn't really realize that there was a lot of rest involved in it, and at the end of the day, he just basically just tore his body apart to where he could no longer play, so he lived through his son. He lived through his son, though.
That's what I was going to basically say, because if he didn't make it to the NFL, then I was about to say that, maybe he was just trying to live through his son and make him go all the way to the NFL just because he couldn't. But since he did, but only played a short game,
couple seasons, I think, 1 or 2 seasons,
and then even then that's still short. But
when he washed out, poor guy.
Maybe that's what he wanted, though, is for his son to play it longer than what he did. But still, it's not right.
How sad.
Yeah, sorry. You're taking like joy out of things, and it can make kids depressed and like obviously do what's the word I'm looking for? Not be a troublemaker, but
be troubled?
No, something like that. Basically that. I don't know. I'll think about it, but yeah, hopefully I can get it before our show is over. But yeah, be troubled and, do things that are not going to make his parents happy, or, it makes him, I'm pretty sure, depressed and feel down and low and feels like, he's alone in this.
And it's so sad, because then what happens? He turned to drugs. I mean, like so many others out there who have just issues, they turn to drugs, and it's so sad, and you wish that wouldn't happen. Mm-hmm. But it's unfortunate, and unfortunately, that was his escape to get away. Mm-hmm. And it just sucks. It sucks, and like I said, I'm glad to hear he's okay, and he's got a family, and everything's fine now, but my goodness, just to think, like, man, you're being forced to do this. So now, fast forwarding to today, I mean, what do you think? Do you feel that, like, should there be youth sports? Should there be sports when kids are 5, 6, and 7 years old? Should there be an age limit to where maybe it's a little bit better to where they can understand it, maybe? To where, I don't know, should there be? I mean, go ahead. You're fine.
Oh, no. I feel like, sports should be around for all kids' age, because how are kids going to know what, as the older they get, how would they know what sport are they interested in, or what intrigues their interests, or if they're good at it or horrible at it, then you can obviously move on to the next sport. It gives them options on what they want to do, and maybe they fall in love with baseball or football or soccer or other sports that are out there. Those are the only ones that came to my mind. But,
Mm-hmm.
they could try all those and see what else that they like to do,
Well, yeah, but okay, do you think there should be super, in my opinion, because I don't know, 8, 9, 10, you're still a kid, but you're getting older. But there are sports I think out there for 5, 6, and 7-year-olds, they're a little underdeveloped maybe. I don't want to say underdeveloped, but I don't know. You get what I'm saying. They're still young. Should those leagues exist, or should there be a no sports until 8 kind of deal? Because that actually is a thing where people are like, no, they're just too young. This is where parents really push them. They can get hurt at an early age. It can really damage them. I've heard that argument before too. So what do you think? Is there a perfect age limit? Is there a certain...
I truly believe that the younger ones should still have sports to play because, one, it helps them with their hand and eye coordination, helps them with their motor skills, their fine, and their... I'm forgetting the bigger ones that they call them, but the bigger skills and stuff like that. So, yeah, I truly believe that they should stay in a sport and everything like that. And it keeps them active. In a way, it's parents' free time to be a little bit away from their children while they're practicing and whatnot. So, I mean, it's, good for both sides, the parent and the child.
I agree. I think children can start competing at 5 years old and be young.
Well, they don't really compete at that age, but they play.
Yeah.
And it's cute to watch them, especially when they're playing baseball. You see all of them are so eager. They're wanting to play, and you put them, say, at first base or second base or third base, but they see the ball going out to the outfield, and they all try to go running for the ball. So, I mean, it's really cute. It's really cute to see them play.
I'll tell you right now, it's truly special. I do believe that sports, of course, my father beating into, well, not literally beating into me, but my gosh, with verbally beating it into me to be a good person, and to not go the wrong route. And I couldn't thank him enough for that. And on top of that, God gave me him. He gave me an amazing mother to, both of them were stern, but gave me, lots of love and let me know that I could do anything I wanted to, put my mind to. And then, of course, football, it gave me that drive. I never played a game before I was 14 in high school, but I was addicted, and here I am almost 20 years later now, basically, still playing the game. Mm-hmm. And it's, in my opinion, it's taught me how to fight through a BA. It taught me how to fight through a master's. Now my second master's is my credential. You know what I mean? It really has helped me. I can use football as an analogy of life, like I told you before, for life. I mean, it gave me that. And honestly, I can say that. I can truly thank God for football. And I can thank football, of course, him above all, but for giving me that fight competitive edge. I don't know. I mean, but you see, I just feel like sports can really do a lot and help out kids and everything. But at the end of the day, it's really a double-edged sword, because then you get some of these parents that just go way too out there. I mean, they're fighting with the referees, with the umpires. They're going crazy. They're bashing these kids at a young age. I mean, I've heard that before, too, where parents are saying, seriously, there's a guy 3 rows up from me who may or may not be drunk, intoxicated or whatever, and he's sitting there talking crap to this kid or about this freaking, 7, 8-year-old kid? Really? Whether it's for, on the team that his son's on, and he's like, oh, he's messing things up, or he's against another kid talking crap about this other kid from another team. I mean, there is a limit. I feel like this goes way too far, and the parents sometimes make this way, they turn something really good into something horrible.
Yeah, I mean, as the kids are younger, even in their teens, really should not take it too personal or get too crazy, because, I mean, you're taking the joy and the fun out of the game, especially, and then your kids get all embarrassed for, oh, I can't believe you're my dad or you're my mom, ugh.
Yeah.
But, you make them embarrassed. But, I mean, at this time, when they're younger, the sport is just for fun and games, really. I mean, they're understanding it more and, wanting to play it, but, I mean, when they get older, then that's when they truly know if they're wanting to play the sport or not. But parents need to take a chill pill.
No, it's true.
And not take it too personal when, the team loses and whatnot. Because, I mean, we don't live in a world that is perfect. So, of course, you're going to have your wins, and then you're going to have your loses, too, or your losses. But that's when you pick yourself back up and you try to fight for what you want.
Absolutely, and you see this too. Like there was, remember that show, I think, like Dance Moms, remember, or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, like there was like I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. You know, I mean, I'm sure cheerleading and dance and other things, I still consider those like sports. I mean, they're still physical and everything. But at the end of the day, it's like some of these parents just really kill it for these kids at a young age. So it's kind of a bummer. But yeah, I guess there are some issues with that. And honestly, really, I mean, the way to fix it is just, I mean, you know, parents be involved, but don't get too crazy. Don't remember what it was like to compete at that age if they did. And if they didn't compete at that age, then just try to put yourself in your kid's situation, you know, and just...
Yeah, know those limitations and boundaries.
Exactly. Show them love and respect, and teach them to show the game love and respect, you know, and it's like, hey, it's amazing what they can turn into, and maybe they will be that next star. But at the end of the day, even if they don't, how about one of these sports or dance or cheer, whatever it may be, taking them to that next level? Who knows, they may not ever go pro, but it can get them a scholarship to get free school.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You know, so I'm just saying that's a really cool thing, and I think it's really awesome when you can look at that. So anyway, wow, look at that, we've reached the end. How you like that?
It was good.
It's pretty good. Well, you guys, we are so thankful for all of you who tuned in tonight. Really fun show. I'm really enjoyed ourselves. And well, I guess the only thing left to do tonight is to cue that music, because we are out of here. So, well, that is gonna do it. So how about that first show back? It was fun. We got to enjoy ourselves, and we're gonna have lots more coming for you guys. So that was just like getting our feet wet again.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at our shows, my goodness, our last show was half a year ago, basically. Yeah, we're 2 days away from 6 full months from our last show. So we're happy to be back on here. We just wanted to earlier, all my listeners out there, in the chat room tonight, maybe after. We just want to thank him. Make sure to show us some love. Follow us at Twitter. Stuff. She watches all kinds of funny shows too. Shows that she's up there. Make sure to follow us on all the outlets. Facebook at iSports Radio, TikTok now at iSports Radio. Make sure to check us out. Love us. Hey, definitely doing some great cause and helps us. Helps out, trust me. Don't worry about any of this stuff. No final thoughts on either. Well, anyway, with that said, you guys, we are just chugging along. That was a fun one. It was an hour and 20 minutes-ish. That's nice. Good luck with talking all those fun things. Next week, we're going to play ourselves a game. Give away a shirt.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know. We're going to have some fun doing that and enjoying it. So we just want to thank you all for tuning in. Anyway, with that said, y'all, for